Hello folks, hope you're all doing well. The tea is on the go because there's a bit of graft going on today. It's main crop potato day, it's Easter weekend. That's kind of traditionally when you would put them in. So if I spin round ever so quickly there, you'll see we've got these big two sort of beds behind me there that are covered over with the weed suppressant fabric. They've been covered up all the way over winter to keep the weeds down. There's still some popping up around the edges and stuff. It's been really windy at times and the covers have blown, but we'll get those dealt with. We've got one of our favourite tools we get to use. Actually, I'll just pop my tea down because we don't need that just yet. No hard graft's been done just yet, but let me spin you around here and show you what we're going to be up to today then. Right, so these are our seed potatoes. They've been chitting for quite a while. I'll tell you about the different varieties we've got here. These ones here are Albert, Bartlett, Apache, and they're desperate to go and look at the size of the chits on them. They're absolutely huge. These ones here are pink fir apples. These ones here are Maris Piper. And the ones at the end here are Sarpo Mira. I think there's probably a few too many here for the space that I've got, but not to worry. Somebody wants some spares off me, so we'll keep some of them. A nice selection for them. They're all well chitted, ready to go in for them to do that. Over here we've got some Bloodfish and Bone and some Vitax potato fertilizer, and I get a chance to use this. Have a look at this, one of my favourite tools to use on the allotment, and this is the Wolf Garten Till and Hoe. And what I'm going to do is, once the covers are off, we'll run it all the way over there and it'll break the soil up very nicely indeed. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling on. Time to get some hard work done. What I'll do is I'll pop you on the tripod over there, we'll get you set up, and I'll talk you through all the different bits and pieces I'm going to do and show you how my potatoes are going to be out. Back with you in just a jiffy. Right, so what I'll do is I've taken the cover off anyway. The cover's away, it's over there, and this is what's left underneath. I mean, to the naked eye, the soil looks pretty poor, but this has been dug over for the last couple of years and had the potatoes grown in it. One top tip, if you've got clay soil or rubbish soil, grow potatoes in it for a couple of years and it absolutely sorts the soil out, no bother. As you can see, there's a few surface weeds knocking about here, there and everywhere. There's a few stones and things, and one thing we do have is a potato starting to grow, so there must be one left in there from last year. I thought I had all of them. You never get all of them, so there's one left over, so I'm just gonna pick out a couple of these big stones off the surface that I can see there and get rid of them. And then it's time to use this, the Till and Go. So I'm going to do this whole bed. I'm going to do the other bed as well. It's going to be absolutely identical though. So all I'll do is I'll take you through me doing this one, and then I'll show you right at the very end, the two beds all sorted with the potatoes and stuff like that. So I am going to do them in a sort of traditional method, and I am going to build trenches down there in this bed here. This bed's maybe is about 4 foot across. I'll probably get 3 trenches in here, 3 rows in here. The other bed's slightly wider, so I'll get 4 rows in there, and I'll do them 12 inches apart and things like that, but I'll come to that when I come to put them in. But first things first, this is dead easy. It's brilliant to use, and all you need to do is get it in the soil, and it's as simple as this, pushing it backwards and forwards like this, and you can see it's already starting to break the soil up like that on the surface. And because it's got this bit on it here, I don't know what you call that, it gets down a good sort of 6 inches and it brings any rocks up to the surface. There's a couple of big ones there just appeared, and we'll chuck them to the side and we'll get rid of them. But I'm going to do this whole bed with this. We'll give it a good working over, we'll go up and down and we'll go side to side, and that gets the soil nice and broken up, ready to dig our trenches. And there we go. So that's that done. You can see there's a nice crumbly fine tilth on there now. The soil wasn't as bad as it looked. The frost's been on it over winter, it's frozen it up, it's unfrozen, it's broken it all down. It's absolutely fab. So next steps, I'm not going to film this next bit. I'm going to scoot along here, I'm going to pull out some of these weeds that are at the side there, pick out some of the bigger stones and whatnot, and I'll be back with you in a jiffy. Right, I'm back, and whilst you've been away, I've been doing a bit of work, as you can see. So this is the first trench dug here, and to give you some idea of size and scale, let me just grab the shovel here. It's around about a shovel deep and a shovel wide, no more complicated than that. That's roughly what measurements I've got here. So we've got a trench along here, Why do I grow them in trenches? Well, it's a very traditional method of growing potatoes. You'll see I'll do some other ones in the buckets back there, the first earlies that you've already seen me doing. There's a few reasons I do it this way. I'm not sure of the official farmer's way of doing them and that why they do it, but the few reasons I do it is, one, when they grow, it looks pretty good. They're a nice long neat rows, all the plants come up all lovely, and when they flower it looks brilliant when they're all in nice neat rows. It looks really good. Second reason is nutrition. So all the way along this trench I've put two things in there. Let me grab this one. This is fish blood and bone. I use that for all sorts of stuff. So that's been sprinkled all the way along the length of that trench. And the second thing that's been put in there is potato and vegetable fertilizer, which is a thing by Vitax, and that got sprinkled all the way up and down there. Now that's quite a rich mix. So what I've done is, on top of that, I've sprinkled a layer of this soil. I mean, not a big thick layer, it's maybe only about 1/2 centimetre deep, but it's just so the potatoes aren't sitting directly on top of that really rich sort of fertilizer on there, so they don't burn their bums, so to speak, on top of that. And the other reason I grow them in trenches is weed control. If you have your plants in a nice long neat row, you know that in that neat row, that's plants, that's crops, that's food that's grown. If something grows in between them, generally it's a weed. And then if I could see it somewhere, it's all the way up there, I'm not worried about it, but a Dutch hoe, I can get a Dutch hoe in between the rows, I can hoe all the way along and get rid of all those weeds that might leach the nutrition out of the soil that your potatoes or whatever other crops you might have on the go will be using. So that's why I do it in trenches. So anyway, we're going to take some of these potatoes here, the seed potatoes. The chits are going to be pointing up the way and the little bottoms will be pointing down, and I'm literally just going to pop them in the soil like that along here, and I'll bring the camera over after I've done it so you can see how they're all sort of laid out and you can see them. And I have one of these. This is incredibly useful. I think my mum and dad got me this for Christmas, and it's a Bergen ball sort of little measuring device, a ruler, and it's got little guides on it for how far apart different crops and things should be planted out. So for this, it's got 12 inches for potatoes, so I'm going to have my potatoes 12 inches apart this way and 12 inches between the different sort of trenches that we're going to have here. So I'm literally just going to pop it down, and then we'll put the next potato down. And it really does, it makes it so much easier than guessing or faffing about with anything to try and figure out how far apart your potatoes will be. So I'll finish this trench off along here, I'll come and grab the camera and I'll show you how it looks once they're all done. Back with you in just a jiffy there. And here it is. Here's the trench along here with the potatoes in it, and again they're about 12 inches apart, and I think it looks absolutely brilliant when the potatoes are like that. I think they look absolutely fab when they're done. So oh, look at that, look, a nice big fat worm there as well, going to go in and turn all the soil over and make more nutrition for those potatoes. So what I'm going to do next is this big sort of pile of soil that I've dug up here, I'm very gently, in fact let's do it now. Let me just pop my needly pad down here. Right, hello Mr. Worm or Mrs. Worm. Right, we're just gonna very gently, to begin with, put the soil around the individual potatoes, right, just like that, because what I'll do is I'll use the spade and I'll pull all the rest of this material over. But what I don't want is the potatoes getting knocked over or tipped over onto the wrong side. So you can see that's nicely packed in there. So that one is, I'm going to do the rest with them all the way up there, and I'll come back. What I'll probably do is I'll come back, I think, right at the very end when I've got this bed finished and all the potatoes in it. I'll come back right at the very end and I'll show you how we're looking. Right, back with you when I'm done. Well, nearly done here. So it's one trench here, one trench here, one trench here right at the very end, the last one to do that's got the potatoes in. And I've not filled it in yet, and for the reason is I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish it off. So I'm not going to use a spade to fill this in, I'm going to use the rake. And the reason I'm going to use the rake is so I can get this bed all nice and level on the top. So hopefully the potatoes are around about the same level, they've got about the same amount of earth on top of them, all nice and even across the way, and hopefully they'll all start growing at around about the same time. So again, just like before, nice and simple, we're just going to pull the earth across back into the trench here, and it's just going to fill it all up nice and evenly. And here we have it. One potato bed, pretty much finished. A couple of things to say that I've finished off with there. So you saw me raking it level-ish, you know, and then I've put a scattering of the chicken manure pellets on the top there. Tony, Danny, apologies in advance for having the chicken manure pellets on the top there, but I use them all the time, and you know, a bit of an ongoing joke as to whether they should be used for potatoes or not, but we'll see how they grow. And another important thing, I've got little labels on there. That's kind of my New Year's resolution this year, is to make sure I label things so that I know where they are. And you'll see there we've got the Sarpo Mira and the Maris Piper in there, planted today, 17.4. And in some sort of uncanny coincidence, let me move over here, I found last year's label for the Sarpo Miras planted on the 17.4.21, and that is just complete coincidence. This wasn't planned to do them on the same date, so there must be something in the air or something. But anyway, that's how I've done my main crop potatoes. So let me turn you around and finish off there. You know what, one thing to say, right? I've just done that one bed, and it is warm, it is hot. I'm a mess. I'm covered in mud from head to toe, and I'm a bit sweaty, and I see some of these Instagram posts and YouTube channels of people going to the allotment doing loads of stuff, and they come away looking absolutely pristine. I have no idea how people manage to stay clean at the allotment, because I kid you not, the second I step on here I instantly get covered in mud. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the way I do things and I get covered in clouts from head to toe, but who knows. Anyway, that is me done for today. I'm absolutely knackered. I'm going to go and drink some tea and perhaps have a little bit of Easter egg, as it's Easter. But if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing here, if you want to see how these potatoes grow or how anything else around and about here grows, please think about subscribing. It's absolutely free, it doesn't cost anything. You just click the red button below and that subscribes you. If you click the little bell, it keeps you up to date with when we put new videos out. And leave us comments, let me know what you're up to. I'm going to crack on with this other potato bed over here. That's going to be even more graft, I'm afraid. I might just do half of it. I don't think I've quite got enough seed potatoes to put in there as well. I've only got the pink fir apples left, so Danny's going to take a bit of graft, so I might do a bit of skiving after that. We'll see how we get on. Anyway, that's me done for today. Thank you very much for watching, folks, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now. Knackered by the end of it. So this year, if I can find it, we're going to use the shovel, right?